They told me bones get weaker with age, as if fragility was something you could mark on a calendar, something that arrives politely after 60 and knocks before entering. But I think it started long before that. Weak bones are just the body's way of revealing a quiet truth that I spent too many years being still, being careful, being afraid. My name doesn't matter much now. What matters is that every step I didn't take has followed me here, into this bed where I lie, wrapped in plaster and caution, with a body that forgot how to carry me. They call it osteoporosis, but to me, it feels more like a lifetime of hesitation turned to dust. When I was younger, I used to move with purpose. I gardened, danced, walked miles through town with friends, laughing at nothing at all. But slowly, I began to shrink my life. It started after my husband, Richard, passed. I told myself it was just temporary, that I needed time to rest, to heal. Rest. That word sounds gentle until it becomes a prison. You think you're protecting yourself from the world, but really, you're withdrawing from it. Inch by inch, the body learns what you teach it. I taught mine to stop. People said I was graceful, careful, dignified. Those are lovely words for a woman who's slowly vanishing. I told them I preferred quiet days. But the truth was, I feared falling, not just physically, but emotionally. The house was too empty, the nights too long. Every creak of the floorboard felt like a warning. So I stayed still. I stopped dancing. I stopped gardening. I stopped going out with friends because every invitation felt like a test of my strength, and I was tired of failing. I told myself I was being responsible, but responsible can be another word for scared. It's strange how the body adapts to what you expect from it. Stop moving, and it will stop trying. Muscles soften, balance fades, bones grow fragile. I thought I was preserving myself. I was erasing myself. I still remember the day I fell. It wasn't dramatic, no car crash, no storm, no chaos, just me reaching for a cup on a high shelf, feeling the world tilt in slow motion. I hit the floor and something inside me cracked. The sound was soft, almost delicate, like breaking glass wrapped in cloth. The pain was immediate, sharp, alive. But what came after hurt more, the realization that I had built my own cage, and this was the price of living too small. The doctors called it a hip fracture. They said I'd need surgery, therapy, rest, always more rest. I laughed bitterly this time because rest is all I've been doing. Rest didn't save me, it undid me. They said, "You'll need a walker now." They said it kindly, like they were handing me a gift, not a sentence. I nodded and thanked them. I always thank people. It's a reflex from years of being polite, but inside, I wanted to scream not from the pain, but from the weight of it all, the weight of years spent mistaking safety for life. The nurses here are kind. They wheel me to the window in the morning so I can watch people walking outside. I envy their pace, the casual rhythm of those who don't yet realize how miraculous walking is. They check my bones, my pills, my calcium intake. They tell me about exercise, about small movements to rebuild strength. I listen, but what I want to tell them is that bones don't just weaken from lack of calcium. They weaken from lack of courage, from too many days of saying, maybe tomorrow. Sometimes I think about Richard. He loved to dance. Every Sunday morning, he'd put on music while making breakfast, grab my hand and spin me around the kitchen. I'd laugh, pretending to resist. I always said I wasn't a good dancer. He said, "You don't have to be good, you just have to move." After he died, the music stopped. I couldn't bear to hear it. Now I'd give anything to dance badly again, to move without thinking, to let my bones remember what joy felt like. People think fear keeps you safe. It doesn't. It just trades one kind of risk for another. You stop falling, yes, but you also stop rising. I used to look at older women using canes and walkers and feel pity. Now I realize they were the brave ones. They kept showing up. They kept moving. Even when it hurt, I stayed home, wrapped in the illusion of control. And that illusion became my downfall. Literally, the world doesn't stop because you do. It keeps spinning, and if you stay still too long, it will leave you behind. My daughter tells me she's afraid of getting old. I tell her, don't be afraid of age. Be afraid of stillness. She laughs, thinks I'm joking, but I mean it. Aging isn't what weakens you. It's what you do with it that decides whether you crumble or stand. I wish someone had told me that before I built my life around carefulness, careful not to get hurt, careful not to be a burden, careful not to take up space. And now look, all that carefulness, and I'm still here, fragile and dependent anyway. The irony isn't lost on me. At night, I hear the other patients breathing in the dark. Some snore softly, others groan. The sound used to bother me, but now I find it comforting. It means we are still here, still trying. The nurses walk quietly, their shoes whispering across the floor, and I think of the hundreds of footsteps I refuse to take. If regret had a sound, it would be footsteps, all the ones I didn't make when I still could. They tell me I'll walk again if I work at it. I believe them, but not in the way they think. They mean physical therapy. I mean something deeper. I want to walk back into life, not just across a hallway. I want to walk without fear, without apology, without the constant voice in my head that says, "Be careful." I want to take one bold step, even if it's small, even if it's shaky, and trust that the ground will hold me. If you're listening to this and you've started shrinking your life because it feels safer that way, don't make the same mistake I did. Move, even if it's slow, even if it's painful. Dance badly, walk clumsily, reach high, fall if you must, but fall forward, not inward, because stillness might protect your body for a while, but it will starve your soul, and when the soul goes quiet, the body follows. They call my condition bone loss, but I think it's really life loss. You lose strength one careful day at a time until one morning the world asks you to stand, and you can't. I'm learning again. Slowly, one step, one breath, one small rebellion against fear. And in those moments, when I catch myself moving without thinking, I feel something I haven't felt in years alive. Not safe, not comfortable, but gloriously, defiantly alive. So if you can still move, move before carefulness turns your bones to glass, before later becomes never, before you find yourself watching the world through a window, wishing you danced when you still had the music,